to another episode of Cooking with Keith. I am your humble host, Keith. This is the single man's guide to easy meals. Or single lady. Or single anyone. Now, disclaimer, I am sick right now, at this moment, as I record this. You may hear me wheezing, you may hear me clear my throat, and you might hear me cough and or sneeze, though I will try very hard not to do any of those things while rolling. So to avoid that, I'm going to spend as little time on camera as possible and tell you what we're going to do today. Today we're going to make the poor man's meatball sandwich. Yes! Now, you can make your own meatballs, but I'm doing it the fast and easy way, and I'm using these meatless Veggie Patch meatballs. Meatless meatballs. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but okay. So I'm going to use this to save time. If you want to make your own meatballs, wad up your fresh ground beef into little balls. Bam. Season to taste. Alright, what we're going to use for our meatball sandwich: some butter, some barbecue sauces, your choice, some lemon pepper seasoning, some red pepper, some assorted Italian seasonings, and some garlic salt. We will also need bread, of course, and some cheese. I'm not sure if I mentioned the cheese already. I'm half out of it right now. If I didn't, cheese, and I'm using the poor man's cheese, American individually wrapped. Yes. Alternately, I could use this delicious pepper jack, which is really good, and I might use that in addition. I'm actually going to make 2 meatball sandwiches because I've got more than enough meatballs for it, and I'll have meatballs left over. I don't mind eating them just as they are. So let's get started. That's enough of the rundown. We're going to move over to the stove. All we need is a nice big pot and a griddle. Now, if you don't have a griddle, a large saucepan can also work as a griddle. I have an electric griddle myself that I'm going to use, and we'll move over to that when we go to prepare the bread. But right now, let's get the meatballs started. See ya at the stove. Alright, now, unlike our last recipe, my first recipe, the salmon patties, we don't really need any preparation beforehand. So we're going to turn the stove on high. And as usual, I'm completely unprepared. We're going to need to put some sauce in the pot first and foremost. Yes. We need to get our sauces going, so I like my meatballs to be a little, I like them to have a kick to them. So we're going to add the Cattleman's Carolina Gold sauce, just right on in there. No biggie. Normally I would probably use more than this, but this is pretty much all I've got. That's actually not true. I think I have another bottle. I don't, actually. That is all I have. So, we're going to double up on the regular barbecue sauce. This is actually sweet sauce. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there. The bottom of the pot is already heating up. Now, I said earlier that you need a big pot. You really don't need a big pot. A medium pot like this will do. I just said big out of habit. And just give it a little stir, mix both sauces together. It's already starting to get a little hot. And that's what you would expect, actually. Once the sauces are nice and blendy, you can add your seasonings. Now, I like to use a little lemon pepper. That's just me. It doesn't take a whole lot of lemon pepper to get that lemon pepper taste in there. Now, you'll see that with the stove on high, it's already starting to kind of boil. We don't want it to burn, so we're going to turn the heat down a little bit. Medium to high range heat. And we're going to add some more seasonings. Now, I'm going to add my Italian seasonings. And I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper. That'll give it a nice little kick. Alright, now we're going to stir all that up. And once that's all stirred up, we can add the meatballs. Now, these frozen meatballs, they're nothing special. I would say go the extra mile, make you some real meatballs. But I have these on hand, so I'm using them. So there's our meatballs. And we want to get them all coated in the sauce. Nice and coated. Yeah! Coat them like it's winter in New York. Because you coat things when it's winter in New York, you see. Like yourself or your significant other. Of course, if you're following this recipe, you probably don't have a significant other. Sorry if that makes you feel sad. It's really not my intention. So now we've got our seasoned sauce. Our beautiful little meatballs are now in there. So, we're just going to cover the pot. And now we can move over to the griddle and I can show you how to prepare the bread. If you can't do this next step, you probably shouldn't be cooking at all. Alright, so here is my griddle. It's very simple what we're going to do here. Now I'm going to use this squeeze butter just because it's faster and easier. Of course, you can use whatever butter you want. To prepare the bread, I'm just going to spray a little bit of this butter, squeeze a little bit of this butter. Butter. Come on, butter. Squeeze a little butter on this bread here. Smear it on with a knife or a spoon. Then I'm going to take some of the garlic salt, sprinkle it on this side of the bread, and a little bit of the Italian seasoning from before. Get that on there too. Use a spoon and mush it down so it doesn't all come off. And flip it right onto the griddle. Repeat with your second piece of bread. And with all pieces of bread, actually. Since I'm doing 2 sandwiches, I'm going to prepare 4 pieces of bread. And this is just plain old white bread, no big deal. You know, anyone can get white bread. You could use wheat bread, you can use roll if you want it, you can use whatever you want. It doesn't really matter at all. This is your world, you do what you like. In the immortal words of Bob Ross. And there we go. Of course, I don't have my spatula handy. It smells like it might be about ready for a flip, so we're going to give it a little flip. We're going to give it what it wants. Bam. Yes, it did get a little burnt. Again, that's because I did not have my spatula ready. But that's okay. That's alright. I like my bread a little on the toasty side. So there's that. And really, that's all there is to it. You can season your bread with whatever you want. I just use garlic, salt, and just a random mishmash of Italian sauces. You can do it on both sides. I didn't this time just to save time, but normally I would do this on both sides. But that's really it for the bread. So the meatballs have been cooking now on about medium to low heat for close to about 12 minutes or so. Plenty of time to get the bread ready. And they are now nice and soft. So they're not frozen anymore. They should be ready for eating. So, what I'm going to do is prepare them with the bread. Now, all I'm going to do is, for this first one, I'm going to lay the American cheese down on the bread first. And I'm going to turn the meatballs down just at this point to keep them warm while I'm fiddling around. Hey, there's some smoke. That's not smoke. That's steam. Ha! Hey, that's science. Listen. When you open up the lid like that, it's not smoke, it's steam. Alright? Kids at home, single kids, get it right the first time. So here is our piece of bread. I'm going to dip out a couple of little meatballs here. Dump them right on there. Get a couple more. Dump them right on there. And top with our, yeah, you know what? Get some of that sauce and dribble it around on there too. Yeah, alright. Then we'll take our other piece of bread. Press it down on there, and there we go. There's one meatball sandwich. Ready for the history books. Now, for the second one, and this is the one with the bread that I kind of fucked up with burning, so I'm going to put it on bottom so everyone can't see it. I'm going to do the same thing. I heap on a couple of meatballs at a time, just like so. Some of that sauce, make sure we got plenty of that sauce on there. And since it's hot, I'm going to take some of that pepper jack cheese and I'm just going to sprinkle it right on there like this. And the heat from the meatballs and all that, it'll melt it up real good. So, oh, yeah. I grabbed a little too much cheese. That's wasted because I'm not putting it back. And then just top it with your other slice of bread. And there you go. Now you've got two delicious little, yummy, easy to make meatball sandwiches. Just like that. Simple as pie. And it took almost no time at all. And you've got some extra meatballs. You can just put them on in a bowl or something like that and just eat them. You can save them for later. But there we go. There's our two little delicious meatball sandwiches right there. Yep, that's all there is to it. So I hope you enjoyed this little recipe. I hope we all learned something today. Hi. That stove is still on. And it's hot. So I hope we learned something today. Hopefully the next time I cook, I won't be sick. Until next time, I'm Keith, and this has been Cooking with Keith, a single man's guide to easy meals. See you next time.